My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
What's the radon level at your home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Make sure your home is safe with a radon check from Bryant. If you've already tested, ask Bryant for a free estimate for mitigation. Once completed, you'll get a report showing how much safer your home is. When it comes to radon, call Bryant 467-1111 for testing and mitigation. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a champ, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce, and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. Touchdown! This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session, and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the Dump Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got the morning Pierson-El streaming in 402-464-5685. That is the Sartor Heyman text line. You can also put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, Channel 961. If you got Allo Cable, we are not going to be talking about a Husker football win today because they got the doors blown off them. 56-7 was the final score in Memorial Stadium. Obviously not our Memorial Stadium, but Indiana's. Let's see. I'm pissed off about it still, but I'm definitely cooled off enough to where I can talk about it, have a rational conversation. I want to get your thoughts first here because obviously there's a lot of overreactions after tough losses like that.
Piss poor performance promotes or piss preparation promotes piss performance. Like it's a lot of P's. I didn't expect that.
No one did.
Typically when it's I don't even want to say a top tier opponent, but I have to say an opponent worthy to more excitement. I felt like we've stepped up to the challenge. At times, of course, did some things wrong or missed some miscues or whatnot, but the performance was still there. That didn't happen Saturday at all. Not I don't want to say not ready. I don't want to say not showing up. Whatever it was, that's typically what we don't see. And the shocking part is it's coming off a bye week. That's the most disturbing part.
I'm right there with you.
That's the most disturbing part right then and there. You come back, you get rested, you have the assignment. I don't know, if you just kind of relaxed a little bit too much, or you got either out of your rhythm with things or whatever it was. But how do you allow yourself holistically, not in every phase of the game, from head to toe, how do you allow that to happen after a bye week?
I wish I had an answer. Yeah, I mean, let's just go to the offense. Did the offense look like it took a step backward? Yes, absolutely. Did the defense look like it took a step backward? It looks like they took miles backwards, not just a step. They sprinted all the way back to some of the horrible years we've had. Special teams, about the same, which shouldn't be high praise for how bad the special teams has been all year long. I mean, to highlight anything, like you have to find individual plays. In that first quarter, the defense gets the stop on Indiana trying to go for it on fourth down. Mekhi makes a great sack as well. The only time Indiana got sacked. And then after that, the whole thing just kind of fell apart. I mean, yeah, I don't know how does that look that bad after a bye week? And then, I give credit to Matt Rule for getting in front of it. There's nothing you can say to make it better after a loss like that, but you can prevent it from being worse. And he did that by just taking all the blame. Satterfield, I still don't really know what the identity of this offense is supposed to be. Tony White, that was just horrible execution. From just tackling to guys. I mean, there was times where it was like
it was blown assignments. Yeah. Like the defense that got ugly. I don't think what was called and what the defense was trying to do was bad. The guys just didn't show up and execute their assignments. That's what I think the defense boils down to.
Yeah. I mean, there was multiple plays where you saw multiple white uniforms around whatever you want to call it, maroon, red, around Indiana. Whiffed tackle. I mean, that first big run from Indiana was about 3 whiffed tackles. And like we can, pick names and stuff, which I don't want to do in anyways, but there's no point because it was just about everybody around. There were some players that played all right, but I was just really surprised by the way that looked. So to put this in perspective, we do got to ask ourselves, how good is Indiana? Where are you at with them?
I think they're pretty good. They're not. There's something to be worried about, like playing them and everything like that. Their offense, how efficient, how things were and whatnot. How they get things rolling. That can be a dangerous team. That's a really good team. I'm not saying they're not as good as everybody thinks they are. It's just, I mean, they showed up and they dominated. They were the better team that day. They're ranked as high as they are for that reason or whatnot. So, you got to tip your cap to them. I want to see, them going against Penn State, them going against, Ohio or Oregon, something like that to kind of like, oh, okay, see how because I thought we would give them a little bit of trouble and we just didn't answer the question. So we just didn't answer the bell at all. So they were the better team. They
no question.
seeing them, move the ball, being consistent, even with the second string, quarterback, still things going their way, running the ball, passing the ball. They're an efficient team. They're a team that's going to do what they want to do and dare you to stop them. So, like I said, I got to tip my cap. That's a good team.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it with the first thing is like when they get rolling, like when they catch their rhythm, that's when they unfortunately caught the rhythm in that first drive by punching in. I think it was the first drive, or maybe it was the second drive. Got that fourth down stop, but nonetheless, you saw that with Maryland, right? Like Maryland's able to get some turnovers, and then at the very end, though, Indiana finally catches their rhythm and they light up the scoreboard. Northwestern, same thing. Western Illinois was from the start. UCLA is pretty much from the start as well. Charlotte, and I get it; those aren't great teams, but the trend is when they catch their rhythm, they take off. And Kurt Cignetti, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because I guess that's maybe a new way to build a program is just bring the guys where you came from. I mean, that's a bunch of James Madison players. I think their best player from Indiana left over is probably at that center position. They got, a former Wisconsin offensive line coach. So, I mean, they're putting all these things together and it's just taken off right away. Do they go undefeated? Like, I don't think Ohio State they got a shot, but
who's still on their schedule to play?
They do got Washington, Michigan State, who just beat in Iowa, Michigan, Ohio State, and Purdue. Like, it's not a very hard schedule.
I mean, they can. I'd be surprised if they drop 2 games.
Yeah, I think Ohio State, and then, I mean, I don't really see them losing to anybody else, unless they just have a bad turnover day. We'll see though, because with their with the backup QB, they were at a point where he didn't have a whole lot of pressure on him either.
No,
I mean that game felt like it was already taken over. I'd like, he looked good. Don't get me wrong, but can he keep doing that consistently when he does have a lot of pressure? Let's see here. We do got one off Facebook. I don't know if they're talking about previous shows. Stop making excuses for Nebraska's failure. We're definitely not. It's
who's
over
making
in the game. I don't know.
Who's making an excuse?
I have no idea. Y'all should have stayed humble. All right. You guys can comment in, but 402-464-5685. That one from George. Shout out. You guys can comment and argue with us if you want. Sports radio. I'm not going to go cry about it. But I'm definitely not making excuses for Nebraska. It's a piss poor performance. Can't look like that after a bye week. I'll ask you, what does the bye week look like? Because talking to Jay Foreman, the Huskers of the way past, the bye week wasn't really a
bye week.
Yeah. What was it for you?
Typically, early on, it was like low impact type days. So, a lot of film, stretching, kind of running, working out here and there. We might have like walkthroughs or offensive meetings for, 2-3 days. Or practices, might be light. They might give you, an extra day off. So, typically you come in, that Sunday is off. Monday's kind of a film technique type day, and Tuesday's kind of like your first hard practice. They might give you that Monday and Tuesday kind of off. We typically had more so walkthroughs, just understanding, what they're trying to do, what we would like to do, talking about personnel more so. Then later in the week, you kind of start revving it up. You put the pads back on, just, tops typically, just so your body doesn't lose, not wearing the pads and you kind of get winded or whatnot. So you go Wednesday, Thursday, probably with just shoulder pads and helmets. Probably 2 periods that's kind of revved up and then kind of slow it down, walk through last period. Overemphasizes on, special teams, let's just say, they can take their extra time, or if it's extra things that they want to see, blitz pickups, or hot routes or something that, that they want to work on or whatnot. Fridays, you might have another heavy practice, or you might slow it back down to just walkthroughs. Even the weekend, probably just mandatory meetings, film studies type stuff. Sunday will be probably back what your Monday is. So typically what you do on Monday, you got an extra day. So you'll hit your extra red zone times. You'll hit your extra, going in or coming out. Certain different types of situations, like bad situations, good situations. you kind of hit those and take more times or whatnot with those. Monday comes out, you get back out there, more of a Friday pace type practice where you're just running, kind of catch your wind. Nothing too crazy, no helmets or anything like that. Just get out there, run. Tuesday, Wednesday will probably be back and shoulder pads. Just get ready for the weekend coming. Thursday might be like a helmet day. Friday, fast Friday walkthrough type stuff. Saturday, or Friday flight. Fast Friday walkthrough type stuff. You fly out Saturday. There's the game. Typically,
right. What day did you say you start implementing some of the game plan of what you want to do for whoever's up next? Like, do you even talk about that week one, or is that?
You do. So, coming off of that Sunday of the previous going into the bye week, like I said, they probably gave them an extra day. So Sunday, Monday, probably off. Tuesday, you probably would get back in and just implement more so film study type stuff. So their tendencies, what they want to do down and distance, first and 10, second and 10 long, hey, we're coming out. They like playing quarters to this. They like doing, certain things to that. I would say the first 3 or 4 days, it's more so breaking down them from a classroom standpoint and just kind of getting your body just in shape, stretching, working things out, running, lifting. Not so much on practice stuff. You might have like walkthroughs type stuff. But it's not anything what it is typically your work week. You're kind of like letting them rest, but it's more so diving into X's and O's on the board, watching film type situations.
Yeah, that I'm just, I'm still trying to piece it together. And like we see this stuff happen, right? We did this to last time we saw this exact score actually was Northwestern 2021. We beat them 56-7. We were still a better team than Northwestern was at that 2021 season. But still, Northwestern was not that bad. But when they showed up, they just didn't have it going. And our very first play, Adrian Martinez, can't remember the wide receiver. He gets a big deep shot. And the thing just kind of took off from there. Feels very similar to Indiana. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like 14 days, like even if the coaches aren't telling the players on day 1, day 2, day 3, whatever, like the coaches are still piecing together the game plan, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like 14 days to come up with 7 points on the offensive side of the ball is crazy. Indiana's defense is good. I don't think it's probably going to be better than Ohio State's defense. And that's why this game's going to be interesting to watch. I'm not thinking Nebraska's just going to turn around and lay over, though. I know a lot of people are thinking, man, this team's not going to go bowling anymore. I'm not. I mean, they got a lot of ball games left. I don't think it's a horrible team just because that one bad loss. I mean, 7-5, it was a lot of people's expectation. They think maybe this team is 7-5 is a win, 8-5 is gravy. Anything past 8 is just we're on top of the world. So to be sitting here at 5-2, I know it's a brutal loss, especially coming off a bye, but it's not the worst spot to be. I mean, this team, whether you think so or not, after watching that game, is off to a better start than they were last season. They still got plenty of games left. Yes, I understand UCLA won, but that's also another weaker opponent that hopefully you can get it there. But, I mean, they're not a horrible team. We saw them beat Colorado. They just didn't show up that day for whatever reason. I mean, was there any games in your mind where, like, I just trying to think of what happens when those kind of events take place, where just like it's across the board, the team just didn't have it?
In the past, or
in your experience? I mean, was there any matchup that you had where like you went into the locker room, at the end of the game, and like you guys are just like, man, I don't even know how that happened?
I mean, the Ohio State times that we went to the shoe and came back.
Yeah,
I think we lost like 63-3 or something like that. It was just, I mean, they had three first rounders on, their D line. It was a long day, for the offense. It wasn't anything that we could do to get things going, because by the time he got in his third step, I mean, you had Bosa in his lap. I mean, that's just the kind of day it was. I mean, it's The Wisconsin, my freshman year when Melvin went for 405.
That's the one I think about, but that's another NFL talent. Like that's, Ohio State it should never be okay, but it makes a lot of sense, especially hindsight being 2020. You see about what those players end up doing. The Wisconsin one is the one I can probably compare it close to.
We were beating them for like 2 quarters. Like Melvin had 3 fumbles that game. Like he was the first quarter in I would say early in the second is when he started to like pick things up. But he had 3 fumbles that game. We were up on him like 17-0. Like we were, blowing them off, and then Melvin just woke up and they just started stuff. So I mean, it's hard for those type of games. And mind you, TJ Watt was on that team. Vince Beagle was on that team. They had some first rounders, All-Americans on their offensive line that went, not use checks or right checks or something. It was like the right guard or right tackle. They had like 2 or 3 All-Americans and first rounders back to back. So you never want it to be like that. It's kind of like the snowball effect. Kind of once things get rolling, coaches, start calling things differently. They're panicking on the offensive end. I mean, I've been a part of that to where, Langsdorf was scared to call stuff. And he was just kind of, it wasn't that we wasn't executing or anything like that. It's just, I mean, you're going against first rounders and you can't really set up or call a shot or anything like that. So, I mean, it's not an easy pill to swallow. It's not easy going through. But trust me, like, the team's embarrassed. The players feel a certain way. You hear about it for the next week, and your coaches is on you about every little thing. So it's never easy, and it's just you can definitely see how people are going to respond from it moving forward with the week coming. I mean, you got another challenge in Ohio State. Hopefully you don't show up in the same manner to where missed assignments, or you look like you're just not even there as a whole staff. So hopefully that doesn't happen, and at least the Ohio State game will be more competitive. In the past couple of years, we've actually played them fairly decent. So again, I mean, it's another opportunity to do stuff. It's just kind of remember to feel and remember the stuff, let it fuel you, and better execution, better detail, better assignment driven stuff to make sure stuff like what happened last week doesn't happen again.
Yeah, and if you want to try to find silver linings, you're at that point now. It's like, all right, well, now you got nothing to lose. Like, yes, the bowl game's still on the line, but you just got embarrassed. The spread is anywhere between 23 to 25 points for this Ohio State game. Like, if you go out there and be scared, I don't know what to tell you anymore. Like, there's nothing to lose. I'd be surprised if you lose this badly again. Is Ohio State, is anybody going to pick Nebraska? Probably not. Probably even in this local area, we're going to have plenty of people going, Ohio State's probably going to go out and win this game and maybe even cover the spread. But it also takes some of the fear off you. Like, you got nothing to lose. It's the classic Rocky quote, you got nothing to lose, you're dangerous. Mm-hmm. And in a way, I kind of felt like that's what Indiana's whole story's been. Like, everyone just has not wanted to give them any respect at all. And especially when you got there, looking at last season, it's like, everyone thinks we're going to suck. Let's just go ahead and try to win, one game at a time here. And as it's gone on, now we're seeing that confidence really take over. But it's you give Cignetti credit. I mean, he got a team believing in itself in year one. Now, go ahead.
He got his coaching staff. I know, at least for the offensive side, have been with him, for a little minute. So they understand, what he expects or what it is to look for. You plug the right pieces in, and you got, the best out of the kids of what you have. That's what coaching is. And I'm not saying that, we're not doing that, because we've seen flashes of it. It's just got to be more consistently. I mean, what happened Saturday on the offensive side has been happening all season long. I mean, we've been inconsistent on that. And I said, if you don't get it fixed, if you don't play consistent ball and convert certain things, and time management doesn't matter when you're not scoring points. You can't just you got to play complementary football, and that's what we really haven't been doing. at least not for a full game. And it's you got put in a bad position. Defense, had a day where they just didn't show up, and it looked the way it did. I mean, that's just like I said, it is what it is. But you got
to be honest. That's what that Illinois game could have been too. But luckily, the offense showed up that day. But even in that Illinois game, like, yes, there were some good plays, but if the offense just really struggles right off the bat, and you see Illinois scored off the first drive, like that's how stuff happens when you got phase 1, 2, and 3, and none of it's clicking. Then you need somebody to step up. I don't care if it's a player or just an entire side of phase of the game, but you just need someone to get in front of that snowball and start pushing it back up the hill. And unfortunately, for Nebraska's case, we just didn't have any big plays. We had one great catch from the wide receiver, but other than that, I think that might have been Lloyd or Barney. I can't quite remember.
Lloyd. It was Lloyd.
Yeah, Lloyd brings the hand down. Heinrich Harburg, he looked fine. Like there's some things that I still want to dive into. In particular with Harburg and Dylan Raiola. Why not take Dylan Raiola out? He has that kind of scare. He throws his last pick. I'll get your thoughts on that, but we're going to throw it to break first. Don't go anywhere. Don't Punt Hour with the morning Pierson-El. Harrison Arns on the board. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Gentlemen, it's time to elevate your style with something from our men's jewelry and watch collection. Why not treat yourself to the ultimate in luxury? We've got an incredible selection of pre-owned Rolex watches, even those hard-to-find models you've been dreaming of. Whether you're stepping up your game day look or adding a touch of class to everyday wear, our top-tier collection is sure to impress. Stop by Sartor Heyman and discover the perfect piece to reflect your unique style. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
NEBCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEBCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEBCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com. General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right, most recommended Eustace Body Shop.
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping, thrift camping. It's saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever. Just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Second segment, Don't Punt Hour. DeMornay Pierson-El screaming in. Harrison Arth on the ones and twos. Talked Husker football on the first segment. We'll probably stick with it a little bit here, and then I do want to dive into some NFL. Got a little warm here in the studio during the first segment. Maybe I'm just still not over the loss as much as I thought I was. I was sweating. I don't know if anybody knows it on the stream. But DeMornay Pierson-El, where do you want to go with this in terms of the coaching conversation? Because I'll give you my take first. I think it's, firing Satterfield, firing Ed Foley, as much as you might want to scream and be upset about it, I think that's a horrible move. And I don't think Rule's even taking it seriously. Or I shouldn't say seriously, but I don't think he's anywhere near that. Yes, reassess at a certain point. Unless we have multiple results where we just completely keep falling apart here, then maybe you get desperate. But to me, that's something it's fair to assess, but not until the end of the season.
As of right now, I wouldn't say as far as the offensive coordinator. Beforehand, I was like, no, he's not really on, the hot seat. I can definitely say his seat is warming up.
Yeah, it's toasty.
If I'm Satterfield, I would be nervous. Depending on how things go for the rest of the season, we will see for that to be determined. But definitely, that's a deeper dive. I'm not saying he should get fired, but something has to change from the offense looking the way that it is. Only so much can be, certain execution of stuff and everything like that. Finally, Fedoni was being used, and you see he went for 6 catches for 91 yards. Like, I don't,
great.
You know what I mean? So, and it looked great. Like, it didn't look bad or anything like that. Your receivers on the outside got to step up. They've kind of been lackluster for a little bit. I don't know if you're not calling such things or so you just got to get people involved. It has to look better. You have to sustain it. If it goes from you looking good for 2 quarters to 3 quarters, that would be better. But this half of a game, the offense looks like that is kind of starting to get old, and something has to change. So you got to figure it out. You got to get them on track and situated. Now for the special teams coach, they didn't. I wouldn't say they look bad this week.
They just didn't look improved. I mean, they weren't asked to do a lot either. I mean, we weren't kicking field goals.
I would say this week you can't necessarily make that assumption just because it was so much left out there that the offense didn't do with certain things or whatnot. When they were called upon, they did execute and whatnot. So I mean, it's a small sample size. We just need to see more execution to see if things actually were fixed or whatnot. But I wouldn't be surprised, like, if a coaching change happens at the end of the year or along the lines of that. If he stays, if he does stays, like I said, I mean, things would have to be a lot more consistent and pretty much no more mess ups. But if he goes, I mean, I can see why.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. Like, end of season, I'm fine with assessing everybody. I think you're a stagnant program that's okay with being just okay if you don't, even if it means you end up keeping them. I think it's always fair to assess everybody at the end of the year. I mean, like, all right, are we getting better? Are we heading in the right direction? Or are we just okay? With Satterfield, where I always wonder is, like, it's how much of this is him? Because the playbook, he was finally getting Fedoni involved. And at the same time, like, I'm just seeing missed blocks, especially out on the edges. For having quote unquote
that one that Fedoni missed, that one hurt.
Yeah, that one was bad. Luckily, we were still able to score. And that one was. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one because he's been pretty good, solid for the most part. But that one, yeah,
that's a misassignment. Like, I don't.
And they were all over. That one was just the most egregious because it was right there, and it's hard to understand how he missed it. But he certainly wasn't the only one with the missed assignment. And on edges, you look at Indiana, they're calling some of those plays looked really similar to what we're doing. The only difference was that they were getting good blocks and allowing that wide receiver. And those plays, and a couple of them ended up being to the house. So I wonder how much is, like, if you're Satterfield, what are your indie coaches doing? Indies, whatever you want to call them, everyone calls them a little bit different. Your individual position groups, what are those coaches doing? Is it enough? Because when I look at it, I wonder if it's the play calling or if it's just like, hey, it doesn't matter what I call here. Maybe it looks simple, but we're struggling to do simple at a high level. And so I kind of go back to that. Like, how much do we always want to shout OC, DC, special teams, but those individual coaches, I think might be some problems there as well. Otherwise, I can't explain why we have guys, week after week that really struggle to do elementary stuff for us.
That's a more, complex question to ask because they could be walking through the things. They could be slowing down stuff.
We just don't know.
Like, and it's not that I don't think that they are. I think that they are, hitting things or whatnot. But sometimes when the live bullets come in there and everything like that, people get inside their heads, overthink things, or, eyes playing tricks on them with certain situations. And you have missed assignments and, you could be a missed assignment or two away from a breakaway, long run or whatnot. Because, I mean, the running backs, we've seen what they can do. And I'm not putting it, all in them. It's a consistent effort on the offensive side holistically, understanding, executing the details, laying it out. And, I don't want to say, it has to be some type of punishment or something like that. But I mean, if it's consistently the same type of people messing up or mixing things up, and again, Indiana was coming off a bye week too. So they could have had some wrinkles with certain stuff and everything like that to get things going or whatnot. And people would kind of, mess things up. But at the end of the day, I mean, you have one job. It's one person. It's you versus your man. And, sometimes a lot of our guys were missing those, key matchups, and that might be causing the offense to, stalemate with things. So, but then again, it's like, okay, well, what are you doing as a coach, offense, position coach, to change that or whatnot? And it goes down. It comes down to, well, you got to get more out of the guys. You can't just allow, them to keep doing it. There's not some type of consequences or some type of something to where, that's okay. And I'm not saying that's what they don't have or anything like that. I'm not in the room or whatnot, but missed assignments can't keep causing you and the team to, missed opportunities out on the field.
Yeah, and it always does go, and that's why I never feel super comfortable with shouting out like they need to get rid of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, no.
This player isn't listening because I just don't know. I'm not there. I'm not in the practice. The only practice I see is the few times where media availability allows it.
Mm-hmm.
But we just don't know what the conversations are. Like, yes, I understand. Like, there's certain coaches that get thrown out there a lot, whether it's because of their age, their previous stops at different schools, the style, the offense, whatever it is that they like to do. Unless they're really there, it's hard to assess. But there's clearly some problems. I mean, you don't get that result without having a few holes in it. Maybe it was, just a one-off thing. But again, I do feel like that Illinois game, maybe not as bad, but it could have gone to that same level if our offense struggles the same way it has these past few weeks. It's hard to explain a lot of our skill players not being able to get past that first contact. Like, it seems like every single time someone makes an attempt on the tackle, they go down. There's not a whole lot of ability to break tackles or make guys miss. So outside of the running back room, where I think Emmett Johnson, again, to circle it back, that's what we've always liked him. One of the few guys that's really good at just making people miss. Dante, I like it, but he just wants to run people over, which I respect.
It's not bad.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I mean, the running back room, they got a bunch of great players. The offensive line, though, this is where I am a little bit I hate bagging on them all the time because it feels like that's always the group. But it's supposed to be the veteran group out there. Not even just picking on this unit right here, but that's got to be a priority in the future recruiting, right? Like, we can't just keep going year after year without having a dominant line for that offensive line.
I think that's something that they've been addressing. I mean, they brought guys in last year, so I mean, I won't be surprised if they go and get some more veteran guys to kind of beef up things or whatnot. I think they flipped a younger talent.
Yeah, they put 4-star. I think that was Juju. I'll find the last name quick, but 4-star.
So I mean, I definitely think that's a piece of it, but I mean, it goes back to you have your block, making sure that your guy isn't the guy that's stopping the play or causing things. I mean, you got people that are losing the line of scrimmage. You got people maybe bad hand placement or losing their block or not being dominant enough to where securing the block and allowing the running backs to get going a little bit more. And then again, I mean, you have people that are stacking the box, against us to make sure that the run game doesn't get things off and whatnot. So I mean, it's a lot of things that you gotta that comes along with that. I mean, teams know we want to run the ball. Teams know if that gets going and whatnot, it's a different team to go. I feel like that makes everything going, but also sometimes we shoot our own self in the foot with the rotations of the guys, and I'm not saying that dudes don't deserve to play and everything like that, but stick with certain people for a little bit longer than every other drive. They're out and about when running backs are rhythm type of guys. You have to kind of get in there and get a drive, get 2 drives going, then you kind of settle in and start picking up certain stuff or whatnot. So that's just the one thing that kind of irritates me a lot. I don't know why, multiple backs. It works sometimes when, if you're the Lions where you kind of bounce off each other or whatnot, but I mean, that's a rare case. Try giving somebody, the quarter, or you might have certain packages, where you can put in the running backs or whatnot. But I think that's a stall just because they all have different run styles. They all have different things that bring to the table. And with unidentified identity in the offense. You know, you don't you putting all your eggs in all these baskets, and none of them are growing from it. None of them you're not reaping the benefits holistically out of certain ones. They all get small gains or anything like that. But if you consistently have those small gains in a particular style, or just with one guy, or even just you narrow it down to two guys, the production might go up a lot more, or more than what it has been when you're just spreading it out thin.
Yeah, and that just kind of feels like the whole offensive side of the ball. Like it's jack of all trades, master of none, is the type of feel you get when you watch this Husker offense. It's like you can do a little bit of everything, but you're not great at anything. Like there's no staple within this offense as of yet. So, and I think the easiest staple for anyone to have is if you can dominate in the run game. You're just going to set yourself up for a lot of success, because then you just need a good quarterback. You can take advantage of a lot of play action where, with just, I don't like the running back room by committee either. I've always been in the mindset, like, just pick a guy, especially when they're all pretty good. Like, even if I want Emmett Johnson, if it ends up being Dante Dowdell, that's fine. Like, he's a good running back as well. Ramir Johnson, that's fine. Like, we have good players. I think we have plenty of talent and skill on that offensive side of the ball. We know we have it on defense. For whatever reason, the defense just didn't show up that day. But on the offense, it's just like, man, you guys just need to figure it out and figure out what that rhythm and identity is. Because Texas wanted him, and he came to Nebraska. Banks led the ACC in receptions. Like, we know these guys can play. And I can't remember what the Wake Forest record was, but I think they even might have been in that championship game for the ACC, if I remember, or at least in contention for it. So, like, I know these guys can play. We just got to still figure out and piece everything together. But that's enough on the Huskers. We're not going to sit on it too long. I'm even surprised we're talking about that long. Let's talk some NFL. Good morning, Pierson-El.
All right.
I want to talk about, I'll let you pick, because the NFC North, if the playoffs started today, everybody in the NFC North is in, which is insane in itself. The Lions, they beat the Vikings. On the other side, I was looking at the score. It might have it on right now, but there might be some magic going on for Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers versus the Baltimore Ravens.
It's 10 points. They're relaxed. They jumped out on them early on, but we've seen the Ravens kind of settle in and fight back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Fight back in the games. Last year, an AFC Championship, Kansas City jumped out on them. And the second half, their defense didn't allow them to score at all. So I'm not too worried. 10 points, you can come back, and you still got pretty much 3 quarters to come back and do it in. I'm not worried about Baltimore at all.
Yeah, and they do have had some slow starts and have been pretty consistently able to battle back through them. In the other game, if I remember correctly, it's not you do got Chargers Cardinals. We got a little bit of time left, and then there's one actual game I want to talk about from Sunday. But Chargers Cardinals, who you got, DPE?
Chargers. I think they're playing boring football, but it's getting them to win.
Yeah,
they're controllable situations. They're good on third down. They punch the ball in the end zone. They don't turn the ball over. Their defense is playing well enough to their offense is scoring more than you. So they're playing. Both sides are complementing each other very, very well. I just don't think Kyler's enough and what they got there to get the job done. I think the Chargers are just going to lean on you, and then it gets heavier and heavier, and you can't push back.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like the Chargers just look, that's a Jim Harbaugh coach team. I mean, that's just what it looks like. It's like he's already kind of got that culture there for him already. I'm also going to go with the Chargers. We'll see. I mean, hopefully with Kyler Murray, he's always kind of feels like an up and down player. He might have a phenomenal night, or he might have a kind of okay-ish one. But the defense, I'm a little unsure if they're going to be able to stop the Chargers. All right, the game I do want to talk about before we get out of here was Sunday Night Football. The Jets currently have a worse start with Aaron Rodgers than they did with Zach Wilson up until this point in the season. Devontae Adams lost to the Steelers, got traded, and then lost to the Steelers again. And I think he had like maybe 9 yards. It wasn't a great night for him. Wasn't dropping balls, wasn't targeted a lot. Wilson, has a pass, hit him right in the chest, and it pops off. And Steelers pick. It like some of this just feels fluky, and some of it feels very real. Where are you at with Jets sitting here with only 2 wins at this point in the season?
They're just not consistent. Like everything's not, being put together. If it's always something. Your coach just got fired. Aaron Rodgers can still ball. He's starting to play better. I think week in and week out. He's playing better than the week before. You just got to make some things happen or whatnot. So I don't want to say it's a long shot for them to play because, again, right around Halloween weekend, I'm telling you, once teams start clicking on and whatnot, things can turn up. The year the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, they were kind of in the same. They were hot, not good, not playing well. Around Halloween time, they started playing good and then, routed off, won the games that they needed to, and got to the Super Bowl. That defense is still can play at a high level. That offense still can score at any given time. They've shown that. They're just not consistent. So I mean, I'm not over them. They're once things get settled in. I mean, Devontae coming in, and he pretty much was probably told a lot of certain things. They put him in a slot just because it's easier than more so on the outside of things. So let them get settled in and kind of get reacquainted with stuff. I'm not too worried, about that team. That team can beat the Dolphins. That team can beat. They just went toe-to-toe with, the number one team in their league with the Bills. They can go toe-to-toe with them. So I mean, they can beat New England. Like that's not a tough division for them. They have the right pieces. Now you just got to kind of piece the whole picture together and kind of get things solid.
Yeah, and again, it's like I said, it's very early in the season. We'll see as these things kind of gel over. I do think Devontae Adams, that's his first game back. I'm not worried about, his touches and how involved he was. He did make the tackle to save the touchdown for being a pick six, though. Hell of a play by Adams to stay attached to it and make the play all the way at the end. But yeah, I mean, give it time. That's a team. If you give them my Bears schedule, they're probably not sitting there with only 2 wins.
No.
Like they've had some tough opponents that they've had to play. They've been close. That Steelers game was closer than the score indicates. Like it just got to a point where it's like, I'll never feel bad for Rodgers, but I was like, I kind of get why you're grimacing here a little bit. Like there's some stuff that for whatever reason, Wilson was just really struggling in that game. And I don't expect that to continue all along. You got a great running back in Hall. That team's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Final piece of news. Ayuk. Core is ACL and MCL too, I believe. He's
done for the season, but you see what I mean with, players getting their money. So people going to say, oh, this and this and that, but it was a reason why he was doing certain stuff to get, the money that I feel like he deserved. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's sad and unfortunate. We can see how the 49ers have bounced back, but I mean, they've lost some key pieces. Not having McCaffrey there, people just don't fear them the same way. They're not playing bad ball. But I mean, if it ain't one thing, it's another that they got to deal with stuff. They're not really playing too consistent, but yet they're still a tough matchup. But I mean, you still expect them to go have a deep playoff run.
Yeah, and I think they'll be all right as well. I think they're even thinking maybe with McCaffrey they'll be able to get him back by week 10 is kind of where I'm hearing. And if not, maybe a little bit later. So there's still hope this thing will eventually kind of piece back together here. Obviously, Ayuk out for the season's tough, but the Kyle Shanahan offense always seems to kind of work regardless of who's in there. Just how good is it based on how great the players he has in that system? I'm not panicking on it. I think Brock Purdy's a great quarterback. You don't need great, phenomenal wide receivers. He's still going to be efficient enough, I think, to get that team a lot of wins. So yeah, I'm not anywhere near panicking. As we get out of here, Pierson-El. Who's more feared in the league right now? The Kansas City Chiefs or the Detroit Lions?
Detroit.
I think so too.
Detroit. I'm trying to. They just got to keep playing consistent. The one thing that I hope doesn't happen to them is, and we've seen it with Philly, I think a year or two ago when they went 13 or 12-0 and then lost and kind of got to
hold on. Let me pause the music so you can finish your thought here. Go ahead. Sorry.
Where they were 12 or 13-0, started off hot and then kind of just couldn't get back to it. So hopefully that doesn't happen to them. But I mean, however you want it, intermediate routes, play action, They got a two-headed monster. They got a good tight end, a great defense. They're going to be scary. Point blank period. They are a top 3 team, and I don't think they at 3.
Yeah, I think you're right. If I'm looking at my power rankings based on how the Chiefs have won some of these games and based about how the Lions are winning it, I think the new power rankings probably should have the Lions at number 1. I mean, they've just been incredibly impressive. And like you said, they are a physical team. They play physical, and they got a coach that everybody gets behind. So, I mean, you got that whole thing. You got a team that believes. They all love their head coach. They like the system. They're 100% bought in. Seems like a scary team to play. If I had to make the power rankings, I'd probably go Lions, Chiefs, Vikings. Lions have been that good for me. All right,
Ravens.
That's gonna wrap it up for us. We'll see if Baker Magic takes over, and then then I'll be really right. But don't go anywhere. Uncut with Kyle Perry up next. DPE, appreciate the time as always. We'll do it again tomorrow.